Welcome to the Paradise Paradox. My name's Kurt Robinson, your host, your guide to alternate dimensions, simulations of realities, universes created by human beings, now gods. Can you handle it? So the other day I had a chance to interview Rick Hernández of codewithintent.com. So we had an interesting conversation talking about his journey through entrepreneurship, learning the important life lessons that it takes to start a business, what kind of things he did to get started, and about the beauty and elegance of coding and what technology might look like in a few years from now, and how computer programming can help you create worlds. So remember his website, codewithintent.com. Of course, check out our website, theparadiseparadox.com. And remember to follow us and upvote us on Steemit.com, so steemit.com/@paradise-paradox. So you can follow us on there, get updates, press upvote. And Steemit is a site where you can get paid to curate and vote on content, and also to create content. So if you're a content creator, an artist, musician, podcaster, might be worth checking out for you. So also remember, you can give us a tip at donate.theparadiseparadox.com. Suggest a donation, $1 per episode that you like, but feel free to give us your whole house on there. So thanks, and let's get into it.
Just give you a little bit of background, essentially what I do and what I focus on, and ultimately what it is that I actually get done, and what I was even doing down in Guadalajara where I met you guys. So
go ahead.
I think so. I've been really interested in entrepreneurship for like the past 10 years, and when I decided to, because I know you guys talk about extensively about college, and essentially if you want to go down the college path and then going down the regular path and so on and so forth, and being a Mexican immigrant, because I was originally born in Mexico, and traveling over to the U.S., it's like, education is number one, and education is like your ticket to the top. Education is what's going to get you that middle class salary of $50,000, where you'll be extremely happy, and that's where you want to be. And that makes sense, right? If you come from a place of poverty, where essentially, in Mexico, the salaries are $10,000, $15,000 per year, which is way less than it would be here in the U.S. So something like $50,000 looks like a freaking millionaire, right? And looking at it from a different perspective, like that's kind of what I was raised as. Like, you need to go to college, you need to get your degree, you need to do this, and then you need to get your house, and then be at 50,000, and you'll be really happy. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's sort of like the story that's told here in the States, where it's like you just got to do these things, and you'll be successful, you'll be happy, you'll be doing what you want. And I found out at a really young age of 16 that this isn't really true.
Uh-huh. Okay. How so?
And it isn't true because you have to have the right personality for that. Okay? So you need to have the right personality for that type of work. And for me, at a really young age, I found out that I like to tinker with things. I like doing different things. I like looking at exploring at different topics and learning about different things, not just being stuck in a certain path or doing some certain thing. And at a young age, at 16, I actually wanted to purchase a car, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm an immigrant. I'm poor. I can't really get a job. I don't want to be flipping burgers. Like, what do you do? Like, what is it? Like, where does money even come from, right? And it's like at that young age, people don't tell you this. And I think it's that relationship with money that people don't really truly understand money. So this is why when you would even ask somebody like, hey, well, so how much do you make a year? They're like, whoa, Rick, that is a personal question. You should not be asking me that question. And that's with coworkers and, other people that you meet. You don't typically ask that question because it's usually looked down upon. But I think like money is such a big part of life and big part of what it is that you do, that it's really important topic to understand where money comes from, how money exchanges hands, and how ultimately you can get money.
Yeah.
So from a really young age, that really fascinated me. I'm like, okay, so money is this currency that we hold, right? It is this thing that we value, but ultimately it is just paper, right? And it's how are you going to exchange that paper with somebody else and bring that value back? So I started thinking about this at a really young age, and the first thing that I actually started was I actually was talking to a girl on IM in China. This was back when IM was huge, back in the day. I think it was Messenger by
Microsoft Messenger or
Microsoft Live, something like that. Yeah. And I was talking to her. This is me at 16. I was trying to make some money, right, to get a car. And I was talking to her. I'm like, hey, you know, what's going on? Like, she messaged me because she was a wholesaler in China and she was trying to sell me things. And she's like, oh, you know, I'm a wholesaler. I sell this, so on and so forth. And at that time, she didn't even have a website. All she had was an Excel spreadsheet. Again, this is like 2007, so it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And she sent me this Excel. She's like, okay, so you can place your order. Your order had a minimum has to be $1,500. And then once you place your order, we'll be able to then go ahead and process that for you and send you a shipment, and you'll get your shipment. So she sent me this Excel spreadsheet that I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and look it over and see if there's anything I want to buy from her and then resell it here in the States.
Right.
So I looked at the spreadsheet and I'm like, okay, I can buy some shoes. I can buy some shirts, and then let's see what happens. Let's see if I can double my money. And I went ahead and made my list, and I went ahead and sent it over to her. She's like, okay, it's going to be $1,800. I need to go ahead and wire transfer this through Western Union. And in Western Union, once you put the money in and you put in the numbers and you give the number to somebody else, that's it. Your money's gone.
Yeah.
So this is me at 16. No. Actually, I was 15. I was about to turn 16. And I was like, okay, well, how do I get this money? And how do I actually send this to them? And that's when I got my first job. And actually got my first job at Target cleaning floors. And I cleaned floors at night from 10 to 5 a.m. while I was going to high school.
Wow. Okay.
This is how bad I wanted
awesome.
it, right? So like I was trying to make this happen, and I worked on that job for a month, and I made my money, right? I made the $1,800 that I was supposed to send to her. I got the money. I went to Western Union, and I went ahead and sent it to her. And I got the pin, and I went ahead and sent her an IM. I'm like, hey, you know what? Here's the IM. You know, here's my order. Can you go ahead and process this? Mm-hmm. She's like, okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and get this done. I sent her the pin, and then she went offline.
And you never heard from her again?
No. She went offline. I didn't hear from her for like 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay.
And I was like, okay, well thanks. And then she's like, okay, your order is complete, and we have processed it, and we're going to go ahead and send it over to you. And it's going to take about a month and a half to get it shipped from China. And sure enough, a month and a half, everything came in. And I went ahead and sold everything in my high school, and I made pretty much like almost triple my money. And I was able to get a car.
Wow.
So that was like my first entry point into entrepreneurship. And I was like, okay, so this isn't like, you don't have to be relying on somebody else to provide for you. If you're willing to actually put in some work and actually learn about economies in general and actually bring value to somebody else, you can actually make your own money. And I think that's like one of the big shifts that I see happening, that a lot of people are trying to figure out, where does money come from? How's money made? And ultimately how you can get some money, right? And that was kind of my first entry point into entrepreneurship. And then from there, I just done different things over and over and over and over. And I've just been moving in the path of where I can bring the most amount of value to someone else.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's great. That's a great story because, I mean, obviously it took a lot of courage and hard work and just hustle, I guess, to try to figure everything out. But in a way, I mean, it sounds like it's kind of a simple business model. It just takes to put the work in to do it. Yeah.
Right, and it's like so simple, right? And like right now, I've been learning a lot about Instagram because I completely missed Instagram. And Instagram is huge right now for people that are literally building their brands of clothing on Instagram and selling through Instagram and having this huge influence of people just buying clothes. Because remember, it's still cotton. It's still the same thing. The only thing they're buying is that label. It's that lifestyle. It's that identity that they're actually purchasing.
Yep.
right? That's why somebody's willing to mark up a shirt that's actually costs, $4 or $5 to manufacture, all the way up to $30, $50 just because of that single brand. So yeah, I kind of been learning a little bit about that, but it's just fascinating that the only reason somebody's willing to pay more is because they perceive more. Not because it's actually worth more.
Yeah, no,
just
there's
their
no
perception
objective
of
measure.
more value. They're willing to pay more.
Yeah. It's like they in the sales offices that I worked in, they always used to say perception is reality, and they say that over and over again. But it's it's true. How people see the world changes so much of the world.
Yeah. So then it's like how can I bend reality to my will for me to be able to create the reality that I want?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's one of the fast. Like I've been watching some of your guys' videos, like not all of them because they're so long, but I usually jump through some of them, and I'm like trying to understand some of these things. And I think that's one of the cool things that you guys actually do is that you guys talk about this other thing, right? You can't really explain it, but there's definitely a different thing that's out there, like the ether, right? You can shape this into whatever it is that you want. It's either with your thoughts, the way you talk, the way that you talk to yourself, whatever it might be. But you guys don't point it at it like this is the thing, but there's definitely something.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah, yeah. I've got a few suspicions about it. I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting, but yeah, that's kind of my idea there as far as value and how value is perceived is. It's pretty interesting as far as that, but yeah, that's what kind of led me into what I studied in college and why I decided to study that specific topic, and that ultimately led me to why I went even down to Mexico. Because when I was down in Mexico, I was just traveling all around Mexico, was just trying to learn from people, like, well, what is it that you actually do, or what do you do here, so on and so forth. But yeah, it's fascinating.
Brilliant. So, sorry, what did you study? You studied marketing, or?
I studied computer science.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. So can you tell us about some things that you learned while you were traveling across Mexico?
Yeah. So I actually landed. I didn't really have any plan. So I landed in Puerto Vallarta there, and I got there and I didn't really have a plan. My plan was to go from there to Guadalajara, and then from Guadalajara just work on stuff that I wanted to always work on, because I at that point I already graduated and I knew enough about what I wanted to do. I just needed the time to do it. But I ended up spending like a month and a half just traveling all the way to Mexico. I went to Mérida, Cancun, Playa del Carmen, down to Belize, down in Guatemala, down to what was the other one? Lower Mexico, Chiapas.
Okay.
And then back up to Guadalajara. That's where I spent a month and a half, and that's where I met you guys down there. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It definitely gave me a different perspective that I sort of forgot, because I was born and raised in Mexico.
Yeah.
But then I've been in the States for so long that you kind of forget things. You gotta kind of remind yourself of that.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, well, we talk a lot on the podcast about how there's, there's huge cultural differences between Australia and, or the US and Mexico, and we don't always, sometimes it seems like we can't really bridge that gap. But I guess you have a different perspective on it, because you can, to some extent, you understand both of those cultures very well.
Yeah, I definitely do. And it made me realize how much, like, at this point, I would consider myself more American than Mexican, even though I was born in Mexico. And I was there for the first 10 years of my life. Right? Because, like, just the way that things are shaped here in the States, they kind of grind these things into your mind where it's like, oh, okay, now I have to do this, now I have to do that. And you kind of sort of have to either deprogram yourself or start thinking about things in a different perspective. And I started, tapping into that at a really, at 16, I started thinking about, well, okay, what is it that I want to do? How come I want to do that? And why is it that I should be even focusing on that? So it kind of gets. I'm kind of like on the edge as far as everybody else. If that makes sense.
Okay. You mean like you're removed from the culture, or how do you mean?
Yes, I'm not like I assimilate with the culture, but I'm not 100% the culture.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? Because you have to kind of sort of understand the culture if you want to do some sort of like, for example, like I have a lot of clients here in the States, and you have to understand where they're coming from in order for them to even deal with you.
Yes.
So yeah, that's kind of the difference there, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. So what projects are you working on at the moment?
What was that?
What projects or what companies are you building, or what enterprise?
So I don't know. There's a lot of things that I'm doing right now, but the big one was I was trying to understand. Like when I was down in Guadalajara, I went to the campus party. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you went to that event. And
no, they ran out of tickets.
They ran out of tickets.
Yeah.
I went to it, and it was such a mind-bending experience for me because like here in the States, like I don't know, I'll probably send you a picture, you can add it here. But here in the States, if you go to a conference, especially a technical conferences, what you're gonna see is engineers that are male, white, and they're in the ranges between 25 and 45. Mm-hmm. And that's all you will see. Like that's it. That's all you see. But when I was down in Mexico, like I saw like older women, like younger kids, women, female, all kinds of different mixes and ranges listening to these technical talks. Then I was like, oh, okay. So they understand there's some sort of value to technology. They might not understand it completely what it is, but they want to learn more about it. And there's definitely a lot more people that want to get into it. And then that's when I was my entrepreneurial mind. I was like, okay. So there's definitely a gap as far as people who wants to enter here. And there's definitely some sort of gatekeeping happening right now that's not allowing these people to enter. I don't know if it's a technical difficulty. I'm not sure if it's the math, whatever it might be. There's definitely a barrier that people can't cross. And that's when I got the idea. I'm like, can I help somebody cross that bridge? Mm-hmm. And if I can't, what would be the simplest way for me to allow them to do that? So now that comes back to education and how are you going to get this information to somebody else, so on and so forth.
Yep.
And I've been working on two different things. So I've been working on how I can actually educate someone if they want to enter this profession, and then how they can do it effectively without actually learning a bunch of useless stuff. Because there's so many things. Like if you want to get into some sort of software development, there's so many things you want to do. Like I'm part of the entrepreneur. I was not no more, but I was part of the entrepreneurship at my university and entrepreneurship club. And there's people that be like, okay, Rick, I want to go ahead and build this app. Here's my idea. I want it to be a dog dating app. Go ahead and build it for me.
What? So a dog dating? What?
Dog dating. Right, this is just an example, right?
Okay. Like when two people have dogs and they want the dogs to meet each other, to be social. Okay. All right, that's cool.
Yes. Okay, so you might be saying, okay, that's pretty simple. Go ahead and get it done, Rick. And people don't understand, like especially the business people, the marketing people, they don't understand the level of complexity that such an idea will take.
Yes.
So they might be like, okay, Rick, we want you to go ahead and build this, go ahead and do it. And just to even make such a statement, it's like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea what kind of resources it will take.
Yeah.
It's like building a house. And they just tell you, we don't want a little house. We want a freaking huge skyscraper. And we want you to do it by yourself.
Yeah, go ahead. Because it's like, when people look at an app like something like Tinder, they open it up and they just see like 3 screens and they're like, okay, I guess that's the app. They don't see everything behind it, all the stuff that makes it really work.
Exactly. So I was like, yeah, that's not happening. And so the kind of work that I'm doing now is I want to show people how difficult it is, but at the same time, I want to show how easy it is. Mm-hmm. because it's difficult and easy at the same time. Because software itself is about people. So it's how you manage the people that are going to be building the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you educate the people that are going to be building the thing. And it's ultimately how you can coordinate all those people to help you build the thing. It's not a one person build the thing. It's a huge group of building the thing. Right? So it takes a lot of resources, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of expertise in a lot of different fields in order for you to be able to come up with that specific tool, app, whatever it is that you want to build.
So you have it's like a training course, or how does it work?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So people subscribe to your to your videos, and they watch them and ask questions. Yeah.
So I have one main product that pretty much takes you from 0 all the way up to getting hired.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it takes a lot of commitment on their end in order for them to be able to see some results.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first product that I have. The other one that I have is an open source project that is a code generator. Pretty much you just tell it what you want to do and it goes ahead and generates a lot of code for you. So it is a tool that it's a tool like imagine a building and there's scaffolding outside the building and the scaffolding helps the workers work on the building. So I created a tool that is a scaffolding tool that lets you scaffold all these things outside the building to let you work on the building.
Okay, so
that's like the tool that I have.
Okay, so it builds a kind of framework for the code, and then you can fill in the, color it in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
You look a little confused with that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work. But I've been thinking. People say that a lot of computer programmers are going to be replaced by machines in the next 20 years or so. Like artificial intelligence writing code for us. You just tell it, so computer, I want you to, like your dog dating app example, make a dog dating app, and the computer's like, okay, and goes to work and creates it. But of course, what you're doing, what you have with that tool isn't quite that advanced, I imagine, but it gives you the basics so you can get started. Yeah.
Exactly. I think before we get to that point of where it's like, oh, computer, build me this thing, or computer, do this.
Yep.
I think that's been the dream for AI for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not quite exactly there. And we have things like Alexa by Amazon where it's like, or even, Google, the Google AI one that you can say like, oh, Google, set up this appointment, or Siri, where it's like, Siri, do this or that.
Yep.
That is just, what they're actually doing is what they do is they're called regular expressions, and they have a pattern matching that matches to certain patterns, and based on that pattern, they can determine what it is that you want.
Mm-hmm.
This is why when you ask Siri something, it's like, what? Excuse me, let me go ahead and look that up for you on the internet.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not there yet.
Yeah.
There's different things that are happening within machine learning. Like if you go to Google and you type in 3 black teenagers, and you type 3 white teenagers, and then 3 Hispanic teenagers, you'll be surprised what kind of results you get back. Because the results you're getting back, those are machine learning based results. They're not human based. So a machine is actually deciding what it is that you're typing in.
You mean like on the image search?
Yeah. Image search on Google.
Yeah. Okay.
So for any of the listeners that want to actually try that out, go to Google, type that in, and then you'll see the results that actually come up. And the results that are actually coming up are not the ones that are actually created. It's not a program where it was like, if this. No, it's actually a machine program that's actually making the decision on itself to decide if this is 3 black teenagers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so, yeah, I mean, it probably does things like every time you search it for 3 black teenagers, it takes notice of which ones you choose and then says, okay, well, that's more likely to be it, or something like that. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so yeah, as far as AI, and if we're actually there, no. I think we're probably off like maybe 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to happen between our lifetime, though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Exciting times. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, there's a really good talk by Elon Musk where he talks about if we ourselves are just a simulation within a simulation.
yep. And
So that kind of gives you like an idea as far as what kind of reality we're actually interacting with. Maybe all this thing is just one big simulation running.
yeah. So how do we hack it? That's my question.
Well, why would you want to hack it? It's like,
Make it
wouldn't
better.
you want to? Wouldn't you want to just make another reality?
Oh yeah. Well, that's another
Like
option.
make
Yeah.
like jump into another reality. Like, I mean, that's kind of like that's kind of the message that I sent you earlier. I'm like, programming gives you this ability to think about a different problem in a very like machine way, in a ternary way, in a way that's very procedural. And when you think about it, as humans, we have these macros that we run ourselves, like these heuristics that we can quickly just jump to them. Like, for example, open the door. Like, you don't really think about how you open the door. You just go, open the door, then it's stopped. And we have like all these procedures in our mind that we just have running all the time, whether it be some thoughts, whether it be some idea, some habit, whatever it might be. You have all these things already pre-programmed in yourself that you just run automatically without you even thinking about them. So I think if you really want to hack yourself, you would start there. What are the programs? And actually write them down. Like, I'm a big journaling person. Like, I journal every day for 20 minutes and write down like the thoughts that are actually running inside your head and try to figure out what programs are currently running in your system and why are they even running.
Okay.
Press like on YouTube, press like on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, and Pocket Casts. Follow us on Twitter at BattleAZ and Trouble Bubble and show your support at donate.theparadiseparadox.com.
Yeah, that's a cool way of looking at it. I guess it's a kind of meditation because it trains you to be observant about what's happening in your mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the time there's a lot of background noise and you don't really pause to hear what it's telling you. Static or like just vague discomfort and you don't really think about it a lot, but it can be there and it's good to be aware of it so you can address it.
Yeah, and especially like when you start actually trying to see what's actually there, you'll be surprised and you'll be, why am I even thinking this? Who put this there? And then you start thinking, okay, why is that even there? And then you can decide at that point, because you bring the focus to it, is that something you actually want to be doing? But other than that, like most of the time, you won't really be thinking about it. They're just kind of these things that are running in the background. And we actually, I don't know if you played around with Linux, but in Linux, a service is called a daemon. And a daemon is just running in the background. So for example, if I was to minimize Skype, this would be like a service that's running in the background. Like right now, you might have a browser open or a different program, and it's just running in the background. And those background programs are called daemons in Linux, and that's just a background thing that just runs in the background.
Right.
So like it's pretty interesting.
Right. So the question is, what demons are in your head? That's cool.
Yeah, and can you catch them, and can you edit them, and then can you actually open them up and actually see what's actually running and modify them and make them work towards helping you instead of against you.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. I think that's one of the big takeaways is if I don't know, have you done any programming before?
Yeah, but a long time ago and not extremely advanced. I mean, I did. Let's see. Yeah, I used like basic, and then I never really got a hold of C or C++ or anything. Visual Basic and Quick Basic and Pascal and some others. Yeah. But
Yeah. So
yeah, I kind of know some of the principles.
Yeah. So programming is a lot like a recipe, right? You want to make a cake. Okay, you're gonna need milk. You're gonna need this. You need flour. You need some eggs. You need some whipped cream. You need an oven. You need this to that. Right. So programming is a lot like recipes, right? And can you actually create a recipe that's worthy of something, right? That's essentially your algorithm. What is your algorithm gonna do? And programming lets you really think about those steps. And that's all. That is basic. Core, that is what it's doing you. It's letting you allow you to think about the steps. And so many times in life, when you make an error or when you make a mistake or when you screw up somewhere, if you could just think about the steps, that would go a huge way.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I guess it's difficult for people to see where they messed up because they can't analyze it at that level. So I guess programming gives you that insight of that, being able to break things down into the tiniest pieces.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's kind of like the first level, right? That is procedural code. This is like something like C, or something that's very procedural from top to bottom. You just get the hang of that. And then there's the next one out on top of that, which is either functional programming or object-oriented programming. And depending on which paradigm you go, you can learn either or. But I'll just give you the object-oriented one. Yeah. Because this is more like the creator role. So I'm not sure how much you guys talk about the creation of the universe. But
I think about it every now and then.
But most people think that there's some sort of greater, some being of higher power, something that's actually creating all these things for us, right? And object-oriented programming lets you be that creator in a programming way. So, for example, like let's say you want to create a game, and inside of your game, you obviously want, let's just make it a 3D game. You want some sort of doors. You want to be able to open doors, close doors, walk through some sort of place, right? So in programming, you get to define what a door is. You get to define how the door, does it slide open like this? Does it slide out like that? And can you enter it? Can you exit? What if you get close? Is there proximity sensors? Like all these ideas, you start thinking about them. And it gives you that power of being a creator.
Well,
so that's like the next level.
Well, with the procedural generation as well, I think about that. Like recently, this game came out called No Man's Sky, I think it's called, and the entire universe is procedurally generated. So there's like these quadrillions of worlds which haven't been discovered, and they're not exactly created yet. But it makes me wonder, like, if we can make a universe that size within a game today, like in 5-10 years, what the fuck is gonna, what kind of universe are people going to be creating within these games? And using things like procedural generation, the universes that we create can be even bigger than our universe, at least theoretically, which is, it's bizarre to think about. How, like it sounds like it doesn't make sense, but it does.
Yeah, that's a little bit more. I can actually give you examples that people can relate a lot to with procedural generation. The way we count numbers. So think about numbers, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And off we go to infinity. You have a number and you want to go one by one. So you increment one number. So you have 1 plus 1 is 2. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. And it sounds very basic. We learned this like, I don't know, first grade or whatever.
Yep.
But then you go a little bit more abstract and you say n plus 1 infinitely many times.
Yep.
And then off you go off to infinity.
Yep.
Okay, and this ability to count a number and going off again and again and again into infinitely many numbers, that is procedurally generating numbers. Like that is a really small example that I can give people, because people like in school they don't really teach you like the math they teach you is not. I I don't think it's like it's the right math, but they don't present it in a way that actually makes sense.
Right.
Or that it has made sense for me. Like I had to learn a lot of
computer
this math
programming
concepts
context.
outside of the math curriculum, right? And it's this ability to look at numbers as these things that can actually generate themselves. So that's like the really simple one. There's actually another really good example of that of recursiveness where there's actually, I can send you the picture for this too. There's two hands and there's one hand drawing another hand. And then you have this infinite thing of drawing hands each other.
MC Escher.
Yep. So in programming, we have that. It is called recursion. So you can recursively do something. And that recursion power is actually a really, really, it's a really strong concept and idea. There's something a lot of people struggle with. And it is just that ability that you can call yourself to do the same thing on yourself. And you can go ahead and recursively do that. This is why there's a big, a lot of people have a lot of issues with AI where they think that once we get to a critical point, it will recursively recurse on itself and it will just advance hundreds of years faster than it has been before because it's doing it recursively itself.
Yeah.
So that's a really
prove itself. Yeah.
Yep. And that actually holds ground. That isn't like fiction. That actually holds its ground, like I was telling you. So
yeah,
that's
it's exciting and scary. Well, one thing I've been thinking about lately as well. Have you watched this new TV series Westworld?
No.
No? Okay. I guess you're too busy for but it's about this theme park, and in the theme park, it's like themed in the Old West, so there's cowboys and horses and everything. But all of the characters within the park are robots. And so people come in and they have sex or they fuck, they kill these robots, interacting with them. And then after the robots die or after the cycle ends, they get their memories wiped. But some of the robots start to realize what's going on. And so things start to get a little weird. And so I've been thinking about this because like when the Matrix came out, everybody started to think, what is it really like? What does it mean to be in a simulation? And the people or the robots who control the simulation are seen as the bad guys. But in this series, we see it from the opposite side, where the people who are controlling it are the bad guys, and they're manipulating the robots. And I think it brings up this interesting moral question because we're going to be creating these simulations, and they're going to be perhaps intelligent beings within the simulations, and we have to start asking these weird questions like, is it moral to kill to turn off a computer or something like that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. You can already kind of see that with the current identities that we hold online. Like, what if somebody was to say, you know what, Kurt, I don't like your identity. I don't like the way you present yourself online. And it's to a point that I don't like it so much that I'm going to write a program that's going to wipe you out.
Right.
Like these are realities right now, right? Obviously, there's other, like, if I was actually to want to even try to do such a thing, it would be close to impossible for me right now because the internet itself is a distributed system. There isn't like one global thing that says, whoa, this is the internet. No, the internet lives globally.
Yeah, that makes it harder, but I guess it doesn't make it impossible because, you could hack my email and then that gives you access to a lot of things, and then you go from there. So yeah, could be done. Somebody could post the N bomb on Twitter under my account and then try to destroy my reputation or something. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's definitely possible. And it's like, okay, if Kurt dies online, is that did somebody actually die? Like what if let's just say hypothetically, I went to your account and I went on Facebook and I put that you deceased, and then on Twitter I went ahead and stopped tweeting, changed your password. On your YouTube account, we went ahead and just did like a little memorial video, and then suddenly you are dead. To the outside world, it looks like you are dead.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
So that kind of comes back to the idea. That kind of comes back to the idea. Can you unplug? Right? Can you unplug a computer and consider death on someone? Like, if I was to actually unplug you from the internet, would that consider me a criminal at that point? like it's already kind of weird because the more and more that we're presenting ourselves online, the more and more we're actually communicating online, the more and more we're actually building these identities. Right? And it's like, this is one of the reasons why I'm not a big Facebook user, because Facebook controls everything about their thing, right?
Yeah.
They control the algorithm, they control who sees it, they control all these things. And there actually have been where Facebook actually has released code, okay? They have released code that actually wants to provoke some sort of emotion on you based on the feed they show you.
Yes.
Okay. If that doesn't freak you out, like
well,
this is why I'm not a big Facebook user, because they have a lot of power, right, that they can actually do. And Facebook has gone to a point where it becomes so addicting.
Yeah, it's like they study the behavior of dogs or something, or it's what they used to do with like Evercraft and World of Warcraft. They would EverQuest and World of Warcraft. They studied the behavior of dogs to determine what level or what ratio of of reward to penalty is going to be the most addictive to keep you playing. And I guess Facebook is probably working on that kind of thing as well.
Of course.
Yeah. Pretty scary. Yeah. And I guess, when I read about that, with them manipulating the feed to provoke emotional reactions, I thought, that kind of stuff wouldn't work on me. But I think that's taking a lot for granted. I'm sure a lot of people thought the same, but they didn't, notice the subtle changes in their mood.
It's kind of funny that you bring that up. So many people like to think that they're unique and special. Oh, I am a unique
special snowflake.
Yeah. Yes. That would never work on me. And recently, I actually have been struggling with this because I'm not a really extroverted guy. Like, I'm not out there, social, friends, going out, the extroverted type of person, right? I'm a lot more introverted. I'm more living inside my head type of deal. And that has kind of sucked in a way, because when you actually want to work with the amazing people that you want to work with, you actually got to get yourself out of that.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to close a contract, if you want to meet a pretty girl, if you want to do something amazing, you can't stay in your head. You got to go talk to people. You got to communicate with them, right?
Yeah.
And that is such a hard thing to do that a lot of people just, like, for me, that was a really big step that I had to do in order for me to actually grow to that next point.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
So yeah, that's a tough thing. And when this kind of comes back to advertisement, headlines, posts that you see on Facebook, stories, and I know you guys are big on media, and I know that Aaron, right? And I saw one of Aaron's video podcasts here where he was talking about being really serious in the media scene, right? Like, actually considering this as an actual reporter of the media. And when you start thinking about this, is you want your content, you want your ideas, you want what you're presenting to be to persuade other people to do certain things.
Yes.
To make people believe certain things, right?
Yes.
And then in order for you to be able to do that, you need to understand how just humans work.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
yeah.
that's when I came to the realization that you're not unique, you're not special. We're pretty much all the same.
yeah. I guess the more people you meet, the easier it is to realize that. Like there's a little, I forget who wrote this quote. Maybe it was from Alan Watts or something. But he says about how traveling the world is like the antidote to prejudice. So the more people from around the world you meet, the less you're going to be able to say, those fucking Africans or whatever, because you know them, and you know that they're not just caricatures, they're real people, and they're pretty much like you.
Yeah, we differ so little. We differ so little, like, especially like it's. You would like to think that you're unique. You would like to think that the thoughts you have, you would like to think that this or that is unique to you. And I see this a lot with people's ideas. Mm-hmm. My idea is gold. Nobody has ever thought of this. Dog dating? What are you talking about? Nobody has come up with this. And it's like, no, your idea is worthless. You're not unique. Somebody has come up with this before. It's essentially,
So the dog dating thing never got off the ground, I'm assuming.
No.
It doesn't sound like a terrible idea, but I've never been a dog owner, so I don't know about their motivations.
There's been a lot of ideas that I've worked on, and ultimately the ones that have been successful have been with people that have the money behind them mm-hmm. and the experience.
Experience as in social experience or entrepreneurial experience or both?
Entrepreneurial experience.
Yep.
So they've been around the block. Mm-hmm. They've done this multiple times.
Yep.
And I've worked with a lot of people that haven't been around the block, that haven't done this before. So they have to learn all these things. Mm. And it's just a learning experience. And that's what I saw, like when I worked on different entrepreneurial things at school. I saw that, they would have an idea of whatever it might be, and we would work on it. And at the beginning, we were clueless. And at the end, we learned a whole lot. And the faster you can learn, the faster you can move. Mm. Right? That's for beginners, right? But the projects that I've worked on, the ones that have been the most successful, have been the ones that people know what we want, we know when we want to build by, and they have the requirements up front already. Mm. Not all of them, but a majority of them. Like, for example, I built a ticketing system for a national park. Mm-hmm. They can buy your tickets online. That's pretty straightforward. They know what they wanted. They had a budget. Pretty successful. Thousands of people use it.
Okay. Sounds. You make it sound easy.
No, but it kind of reaches that point where an experience is a good thing. Like for me, example, like I'm still relatively young. I'm still very inexperienced in a lot of things. And that is a good thing depending on how you look at it. Hmm. Because if you're inexperienced, you don't know limitations. Like, I can build a tool that can generate code. Who says this can't be done? Like, I don't know if do you see what I'm saying? Like, you can think of crazy things, and if you're willing to actually work on it, like, there isn't necessarily someone saying that you can't do it besides yourself.
Yeah.
So there's this really famous programmer. His name is John Carmack, and he was by 23 he became a millionaire when he created the game Doom. Mm. I don't know if you know the game Doom.
Yeah, I know it well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the first game he was the one that created the engine for the game, and he became a millionaire by 23 when he released that game. But nobody really knows his backstory, where he was actually programming when he was 14.
Wow.
So that is
9 years.
9 years of experience. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Of just working day and night. I'm not talking about like, oh, I only do this 2 hours a day. This is somebody that is obsessed, that's working on this thing for like 10, 12 hours. And now, John Carmack, he's still alive, and he's working on the Facebook VR, which is the VR thing that you put on for Facebook, the Oculus.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So
yeah, well, that game was groundbreaking when it came out. Like we couldn't believe the graphics. It was so different, so advanced, and people actually still play it. They still love it. It's a classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that kind of gives you an idea. But this kind of comes back to the thing that I was trying to say. John Carmack, he says this: the the biggest limitations you have are the ones that you self-impose on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about how much like who's holding you back? It's yourself. No one else. Like, it's not the government, it's not school, it's not your teachers, it's not your parents, it's not the money, it's not the relationship, it's not the perfect wife, it's not like all these excuses that we come up with in our mind. It's yourself.
Yeah, it's that's what it seems to be. That's how it is in my experience, at least. I mean, for the most part. But I remember there was this. Let's see. I'm trying to remember the expression, but it was something like, it's not a mountain that stops you traveling across the country. It's normally a pebble, and once you learn how to walk across those pebbles, you can cross mountains. It's just these small little things, and it's your mentality. Because you trip on this pebble and you think, no, everything's gone to shit, and you turn back and you go home. But but the reality is, it's just this little thing, and you're making it out to be something huge.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing. That if anybody, first of all, you have to be open to even accepting that as a reality. Because if you're not even open to even accepting that, like, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see this all the time, like, especially like with family around me, people that I know or whatever it might be. They're like, oh, gotta get to my job. Gotta go do this. I gotta go do that. And it's like, this is life. It's meant to be lived. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's just like, once you realize that, it's like you do step out of the matrix. It's kind of, you're outside now, and it's kind of like you took the red pill at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
which I'm sure you have, if you can even understand this.
I think I've taken quite a few.
No.
Some metaphorical. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So do you want to tell us? Let's see. What's something you want to promote, or is it some project, your brand that you want to get out there, so our listeners can check it out if they're interested in what you have to say?
So yeah, if anyone wants to. I mean, we can sit here and talk about this stuff all day long, but if anyone wants to, if anyone has tried, okay, I want to say tried. I don't want to say if nobody has ever learned. I want to say try, and I want to make it very specific on try. If anyone has tried to learn to code and has failed, okay, I want you to go to codewithintent.com. That is a blog that I run. And read a couple blog posts. And just look around. It's all free. Like,
great.
Go ahead and just look around and see if any of my writing inspires you back into learning to code again. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Because besides writing, I don't know anything else how creative, expressive, and how powerful something can be as programming.
Okay. Yeah.
There's very little few things in life that I can say about that. Besides writing.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, because I think a lot of people don't see computer programming as artistic, but it is an art form, and there's elegance there and poetry, I guess. and you, like you're saying, you create worlds with these things.
Yeah,
it's
the tools.
Great. Okay. Is anything else you want to say, or shall we finish it up?
I mean, I don't know if you have any questions for me, specifically if you're interested as far as something that has piqued your interest besides AI, because my AI knowledge is only up to machine learning, so I'm not like an AI expert. But I've learned a little bit about machine learning and how that's actually being used. So there's a lot of places that's actually being used, but I won't get into that.
That's cool. Well, we could talk about that another time because it sounds like it's a wide, broad topic. That's cool.
It is.
Thanks so much for listening. Remember, Rick's website is codewithintent.com. Codewithintent.com. So have a look at that. Check it out. Enjoy it. Remember, you can follow us and upvote us on Steemit. Steemit.com/@paradise-paradox. The link's in the show notes. You can also head over to donate.theparadiseparadox.com. We are supported mainly by your tips, your donations, so we do appreciate when you give us a little, break us up a little piece for us to enjoy and continue on, and also just to send us the beautiful message that what we're doing is important and interesting and funny and entertaining. So we appreciate it every time you give even just a few dollars there. Thanks very much. Have a great day, and see you soon.